I had bad sleep last night.
No,
So,
according to you or according to your Fitbit?
I almost asked
According to
the
me.
same exact question, like literally verbatim the same question.
according to the memories in my brain and my lived experience. Hello and welcome to WayTooBroad, a place for friends to talk about things they're really, really ridiculously excited about. I'm Hannah, and these are my co-hosts, Aaron and Ben. I hear them both unmuting now. Let's see what they sound like. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, Hannah, I'm definitely not eating candy. Hi, Ben.
Hello, both of yous.
Aaron's definitely eating... Well, no, you're not eating candy. You're eating rocks, which is to say
I'm eating
almonds.
candy-covered rocks.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, candy-coated covered rocks.
Now, this is a subject that we covered last week in depth. You know, cashews and almonds and how cashews are gentler. I do. I just. I'm not going to go deep into it because I don't want to bore listeners who listened last week. But I do want to mention it because we got an email from shoutouts to Rachel this week about nuts. You want to hear it?
Let's hear it.
Yes.
I don't agree with it, but let's hear it.
Did you read it? Okay,
I'm reading it now.
Okay. What kind of almonds you eaten is the subject of this email. And this is what is in the body of the email. Hannah, have you tried Hannah,
You can just read it.
Hannah, have you tried I'm trying to.
This is the
Have you
first
tried to
paragraph.
read emails.
First paragraph,
Hannah.
sentence number 1 says.
Have you tried raw almonds? They are gentler than what you find in mixed nut packs. I also love cashews. I eat them pretty much every day.
Love that. Sent
Love
from my iPhone. That's the postscript.
Yes, at the end of the email it says sent from my iPhone, and then there are some suggested replies. The first one is thanks for the tip with an exclamation point.
Let's send that one.
Okay, I will. The other two are no, I haven't, and
Yes.
no, I haven't, period, and yes, I have with an exclamation point.
That's good.
No, I haven't, period.
No, I haven't.
Which one?
That's
Which
such,
one do I do?
That's such a terse response. No, I haven't. Like,
Which one do you want me to send?
thanks for the tip.
Thanks for the tip.
Okay,
So,
sent.
shout out to Rachel. Thanks for the email. Now you know why you got that response. I would disagree because I find raw almonds to be like harder. I know this question was addressed to you, but I feel at liberty to answer it for you.
I have a
For you.
question. Are the almonds in trail mix raw or not? Or are they
Roasted.
roasted? Oh, really?
I feel like a roasted almond's somewhat softer than a raw.
I feel like
Ramen?
most
Ramen.
nuts. Yeah, that was my suggestion, was that we should call them rawmans. Because
Rawmans.
I don't like to waste syllables.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I
Or
think if you
phonemes.
can,
Especially
you should.
ones that are kind of hard to say, like raw almonds.
Yeah,
Raw
raw
almonds.
almonds. Like, they share the same syllable.
Right.
That's what they call in French a liaison.
That's right.
Yeah. That's what I call in French a rawman.
Le roman. Ramen. They would actually liaison that too. Ramen.
Yeah. Yep. So, rawmans. I don't think I've had rawmans. I do think most nuts that we buy and eat from the store that are like lightly salted are also roasted already.
Roasted. I feel like a
That's
trail
my
mix
belief.
almond
Really?
might be older too, which is why it's so hard.
Is
Why-
old
why?
almond gentle?
I don't know, because I just feel that way,
What?
Ben.
But
Is-
like older than like it's in the same aisle as like a package of like almonds.
Yeah, but
Is it older than those?
yeah,
is-
because people don't like those as much. So
trail mix almond.
Because people don't like trail mix as much?
yeah, trail mix is
Roasted.
like the almonds they use for those are the ones that like fall on the floor of the bulk bins.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew that.
I knew
Good
that.
thing you're-
Did you say that you worked at Whole Foods?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's not an official Whole Foods policy. Please don't sue me, Whole Foods. I'm just supposing over here. I'm just pontificating.
Yeah.
I'm just sposing.
I'm just posing.
If Smoses supposes his toes are roasted.
It looks like we have another email.
We do have another
chain,
email.
Perhaps. I'm going to let you get into that.
We had actually a little back and forth with a loyal listener named Aunt Brown.
Hey, Aunt Brown, shout outs.
Aaron, okay, there's kind of spoilers in this, by the way.
Oh, there are. I won't
Did
look.
you read this?
Oh my god, is it about Bird
I
Box?
don't
It is about
have
Bird Box.
any plans to watch Bird Box.
Okay, but listeners might. So,
You're right. Give us the breakdown. Give us the gist.
Okay, let's just put it like this. Aunt Brown, my mother, she does not feel bad about the question that she asked, the spoiler that she requested, and she's annoyed by the answer to the question that she posed because she did watch the movie. So that's that. And then we went back and forth a little bit, and I kind of explained to her why I think it was kind of a good ending. And she also mentioned this show called Wayward Pines, which she said was not perfect, but that series has like a menace, but in a similar way, but finding out what the creatures are and why they exist really advances the story. And to that I said, I have seen that, and I remember being super annoyed by the reveal. And I can't remember why exactly, but I think it was because like they did evolution writing really bad, which is always like a pet peeve of mine. And that's the risk I feel like you run when you like try to come up with a scientific explanation for like a horror monster, is people are going to know more science than the person writing that, like 90% of the time.
Right.
No offense to screenwriters. I'm sure you're very smart.
Are you sure?
Did I not sound sure? So that's all I can really say about this email. Just like Aunt Brown, I guess shout outs to Aunt Brown for sticking to her guns on that one.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah, but also you're wrong.
Also, you wrong.
Listen, we're all like exploring this world in our own way.
Hey, by the way, looking at our inbox here, I don't remember if we ever gave a shout out to friend of the pod, Eamon, for from But Yeah Podcast for giving us a gift on Ko-Fi.
Oh,
for
hell
Christmas.
yeah.
Very nice. Or for
Shout
candle
out.
nights, I should say.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank
shout
you,
out.
Eamon.
Thank you, Eamon.
Candle Nights, of course, is a registered trademark of what's their company?
Oh, big giant head.
Big giant head.
Big fat head.
Big fat head.
What?
That's the McElroy Brothers production company.
Oh, gotcha. I thought that Candle Night was our podcast night.
Candle night. Oh, I get it. So they have candle nights. I guess like our candle night is the night that we record.
Right.
TM. But also, all respect to the McElroy brothers, we're not trying to steal your TMs. It kind of sounded like we were, but we're not.
Cool. I thought it was money for a new potty can.
Well, I could use it for that.
No. Or whatever. What's everyone drinking?
Oh, I'm first. I have 3 beverages again.
You're living it up. You're living large.
I am. I like to have options, We all live this life. Except Ben. We get it.
We get it.
So, I have a Canada Dry seltzer.
Chill.
By the way, we have a plan. We have a plan moving. It's at like step 1 right now of 2 or 3. Where we're finally gonna get what's that called? The fizzy machine for in your house.
Oh,
so you
Soda
don't
Stream.
have to. Yeah. We're finally gonna get a Soda Stream.
Nice.
We got a Brita that attaches to your faucet this week. That was step 1.
Nice.
Yeah. Step 2 will be, I guess, buy the Soda Stream, and then step 3 will be use
Profit.
it. I think that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yep. Profit. So that's one seltz. Then I have this seltz, which I went to dinner at my parents' house last night, so I stole a seltzer because that's what I do 100% of the time that I go
Blackberry
to their
clam.
house. Yep, this is a Blackberry Clementine Polar Seltzer. Very good stuff.
Hell
Rocking
yeah.
2 different brands of seltzer right now. This is my 3rd drink in a martini glass.
Ooh, it's got like a little garnish.
It's got a little lemon,
Twist.
formerly twist of lemon, yeah. It's kind of untwisted
It's got
itself.
an unraveled twist.
Mm.
What is in that
Yes.
martini?
Now, I asked for a tea that was lightly...
A teeny?
It's for a teeny bit of caffeinated tea, a lightly caffeinated tea of some kind, from the bartender. And what he brought me was not that. Well, there is tea in it, I guess.
Tea teeny.
But yeah, it's like a tea teeny. Yeah, it's got some cherry stuff, like tart cherry juice, and it's got chamomile tea. And some lemon and some sugar.
Isn't that tart cherry juice like good for your blood pressure or something?
I love tart cherry juice.
It's
maybe
like good. It's one of those ones that like fixes what ails you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like
it's got antioxidants.
Yeah, it's got antioxidants.
Or it's like good for your urinary tract. You know, it's like one of those.
Yeah. And it's so tart and delicious. It's like all of the good parts of a cherry pie and none of the bad parts.
Nice.
What are the bad parts?
Yeah, this is actually a really good question. The warmth,
the crust,
the flaky, the warmth, the buttery, flaky crust, the mess, the grandma's house, the more memories of home.
Yeah,
the delicious cherries soaked in syrup.
The mess, the too sweetness, and all the other nice stuff you guys said. All that's bad.
The big scoop of melting vanilla ice cream.
Now the
Puddle
reason
on your plate.
Yeah. That's nice. That is nice. The reason that I'm not allowed, or I've been unallowed to have anything with caffeine in it at this point in the evening is that last night I woke up at like 2 a.m. and then I could not fall asleep again for like 2 to 2.5 hours. So I had a very fragmented bad night of sleep.
Oh no. I always like when I wake up in those wee hours, I always feel like those are the moments where I have like existential crises. You know, I like think about my own mortality and the mortality of those I love in those hours. Yeah, I really hate it. Like it's seriously like if I have to wake up to go pee at 3 a.m., I like seriously think about like and feel how terrible it would be like, or like for the people I love when they die. And, like, how I'm gonna die and, like, what that's gonna be like. And I, like, don't think... And then I wake up in the morning and I'm, like, think those same thoughts. I'm like, meh, whatever.
Gotta live your life.
Yeah. So I don't know what guard of mine is down at that... Like, still asleep at that hour. But it's weird. Consistently. Anytime I wake up that early.
That's... Wow. That's interesting. I've been thinking a lot about that in two contexts that are kind of wildly different. One of them is I've always put like a high premium on being an independent sort of person, you know? So when Ian and I first got together, I was like so I was so like clear with myself that like I didn't want to start relying on him to do any one particular thing in our lives all the time. Like I wanted to be independent enough that if something ever happened to him, I wouldn't be just like lost in the wilderness on any particular aspect of my life.
Like those guys who like never go grocery shopping. And so like they don't know how.
Right. Then their wife passes away when they're like 80 and they don't know how to feed themselves. Like I didn't want to be that. I didn't want that to happen. But I've found we've only been together. I mean, we've only been married for 3 years now. And already like there are things that I instantly give up on because I know that I can do it, but he'll redo it anyway because I won't have done it well enough. Like checking weather. I can't find a radar map to save my fucking life.
That was not one that I expected.
Me neither.
I expected like filling the dishwasher.
That's exactly the one I was thinking.
Yeah.
That is accurate, but we have a system for that.
Unlike you're checking the weather.
Yeah.
I unload the dishwasher. He loads the dishwasher. But
good system.
Thank you. But that worked out. That's like how you and Molly are really sushi compatible. I hate loading the dishwasher, and he hates unloading it. And we're also both very bad at those things that we don't like to do. So that worked out. But yeah, no, like weather. It's like weird stuff like that. Like research. Stuff like that. The other thing, what are you laughing at?
Nothing. Keep going. The same things. I'm laughing at the same things. Weather. You keep mentioning that. I'm like, how are you bad at weather?
Well, There's gonna be a snowstorm this weekend.
Does he require you to like research it yourself, like independently verify the internet sources? Like...
He doesn't. No, listen. You don't understand what it's like when a snowstorm is coming, Erin.
We have those.
But we're supposed to go on vacation this weekend.
Where are you going?
And Maine, and there's supposed to be a big snowstorm in Maine this weekend, and I've been trying to keep track of it, and so has he, and yet every day when we come home we have completely conflicting information on what's going to happen in Maine this weekend. And like then we'll go and watch the weather people talk about it, and he's always right. So like I just stopped doing it.
That seems legit. You've lost your privileges.
I've lost my weather privileges. The other one is something that I think Ben kind of implanted in my head, which I'm kind of mad about, which is I think when I was visiting Ben, you said, you asked me if when I'm like looking at my cats and in awe of how sweet they are, if I ever then think about how sad it's going to be when they die. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be funny if Ben's like, I never said that to
you. And I at the time I was like, no, I don't think I do that. But now every night Jack comes and sleeps on my legs, like in between my knees, and I think about it like every night now. Like when Jack dies, then I'm gonna like not be able to get to sleep anymore, because that's like my signal that like I've settled down enough that I'm about to fall asleep, and I'm not gonna have that anymore. So just a little
I think about it
downer.
I think about it with Como getting into bed too.
Aw, babies.
Babes.
He's joined me, by the way. He's come up and joined me in my recording, buddy.
Hello, Chroma.
In his usual spot.
Drama.
You backstage engineer.
Yeah, my producer.
Your producer.
You have Ian, I have Como.
Nice. How many producers does one show need, really?
One for each host.
Erin, what are you
up?
drinking? Did we do that?
No, we have not
got
done
hung
that.
up.
Wow, that was all what Hannah's drinking.
We got hung up.
Hannah's drinking the sweet liquor of her own mortality. Okay,
Yeah.
and those of her cats. I have the end of a plain seltzer. And after all of my talk last week about how, like, well, I don't drink soda, I'm drinking a soda. Hey.
Oh, root beer.
Root
I got a
beer.
Barks root beer. Well, here's what happened. On the way home today, I thought, wow, how fun would it be if I got my grubby little paws on a Citra, Fanta Citra, like we were talking about last week, which is the sugared version of Fresca. And so I stopped at a couple gas stations and that didn't have it, but I felt weird like walking into a gas station and walking around and then leaving with that empty-handed. So I bought myself a nice soda. Barks root beer.
That's like so lawful good of you. Ian does exactly that also. Like he feels really weird about walking into a store and then not buying anything. Any store. Like that's so funny to do that in a convenience store. Like I've seen him do it he'll want to go in and check out like some fancy store, but then he'll end up buying like the cheapest thing in there before he leaves because the customer service person is like nice, you know, and he feels guilty.
A good store like that I don't feel as weird about, like a browsing store. You know, where you're just going to go in, like, I don't, like a frou-frou home store, like, I don't have any, I'm not going to buy it.
No, but like a boutique-y store.
A boutique
like
store.
Like a smallish.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't feel necessarily like I wouldn't needed to buy anything there. But a convenience store, I feel like people will steal things all the time from convenience stores, and I don't want anyone to think I'm, like, being suspicious. And I felt so lawful good the other night at the movie. So we went to go see Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I ordered it's like that fancy theater where they serve you and stuff. So it's more like a restaurant rules. I feel like it took on restaurant rules because I ordered a ginger ale. Excuse me, another soda. And it's free refills. And these are the nice Blue Sky sodas with the sugar, and it's like really gingery. Oh, it's so good. And Molly had ordered a beer, and she was like, ooh, can I share that ginger ale with you? And I was like, oh, you're not really supposed to do that with
what?
But I did. I got over it. I had my moment of like, you know, at a restaurant,
Wait.
you're not supposed to order one soda and then share it with somebody else. You're supposed
What?
to. If it's free refills, you're not supposed to share a soda with somebody. You're supposed to get their own refills. But
I've never
I shared it
thought
with
about
her.
that once in my entire life.
Yeah, I know. That's because you're not lawful good, are you?
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, but yeah. Ian's gonna relate to me here.
Yeah, he's gonna totally get it.
Yeah, if you're two people drinking soda, you should each have bought a soda. But I was like, I was like, oh, we're not supposed to do that. Yeah, like, and then I was like, of course you can share my soda. I got over it, but I still felt it.
She bought a beer that's like much more expensive
Yeah.
than
I
your
know,
free
that's-
refill soda.
That's like what they actually make money
Yeah.
on. They don't make money on the fucking...
Hey,
they mark that up.
we're
From,
not
it
making
costs them
fun
like
of
a
you.
nickel to make that each glass of soda.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I did feel better because she did have a beer, so I felt like she wasn't drinking just the soda, and we were like trying to skimp them on a soda.
Listen, I don't want to spend 20 minutes on every single what are you drinking segment. However, I do feel like I need to jump back to the point where you said that you were worried about looking suspicious for walking around a convenience store and then leaving. Because, like, this is what I think is so different is, like, I just want to understand, like, what did you think could happen?
I don't
did you
want
think they would call the cops on you?
No, I just don't want somebody to think that I'm shoplifting.
But then what impact would that have on your life?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, I just feel, and then I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I don't know how to act
You just
when
go
I'm
home
walking
and live
out.
your life.
I don't know how to act when I'm walking out.
You're never gonna talk to her or see that
I know,
person
it doesn't
again.
matter. It's how I feel in the moment. Like, I don't know how to walk out of a convenience store that I've just walked around in without buying anything. And not, like, I don't know how to feel normal doing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I
interesting.
just bought a little soda. Yum, yum, yum. No problem, you see.
No problem. Just great soda.
That's right.
Just a sugary, delicious beverage.
Yep. With a little bit of caffeine that hopefully won't bite me in the butt. Because I had too much caffeine last night and definitely had a lot of trouble falling asleep.
Dang, this is a really good drink that I didn't order.
Did you ever tell us what was in it?
Yeah, it's got tart cherry juice.
Tart cherry juice. We stopped there. I think.
Chamomile.
That's right, yeah.
Lemon and sugar.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Oh, she said all that. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, she did. She did.
It came back to me once she said it.
So
It's all right.
come here, man, to me.
Ben, what are you drinking?
Oh, iced water.
I said water. I said
And that
water.
I said I have iced water. That's all,
Hooray.
folks. Yippee-ki-yay.
I have one upfront stuff. Very quick.
Okay, go.
Because we have talked about it before, and we may talk about it again, because I'm not finished yet. But I just want to update the world on the point that I'm at in the Shades of Magic series by Victoria
great.
E. Schwab.
Good.
Which is I'm almost finished with the second book in the trilogy now.
You're almost finished?
Yes.
Blowing
Yay.
through the audiobook.
I'll tell you how much time I have left right now. The second audiobook is much better.
She's
Can
having someone
definitely
read
recommend.
it to her.
Yeah, 46 minutes left
Wow.
of the book.
So you'll knock that out in your commute tomorrow.
Yes, and I've also already downloaded. I finally figured out how to return things on Audible. So I returned a bunch of stuff I like never listened to or didn't like, and so I got all these credits back. So I've already downloaded the third one, so I'm going to listen to that next, and I'm extremely excited about it. And it's so fucking good. It's so good. It's like
I love that book.
I thought I liked the first one, but now that I'm almost done with the second one, like it's just like it's twice as good, I think.
Oh.
It's different. I mean, it's very different. Like there's a lot it's the focus is a lot more sort of I don't know. It's very different, but it's really
And they
good.
add some cool ass new characters.
Cool ass new characters.
Ass new.
It's an extremely
Cool ass
sassy
new.
book. This one much
Oh,
sassier
nice.
than the last one.
I really like his sassy book.
Yeah, it's like
I didn't
she's
find the
good at
last one
writing
sassy at all.
I thought that the dynamic between Kel and Lila was very interesting in the last book, and I thought there was a lot of like romantic nuance to it, which I really liked. Like, I think she's really good at writing it.
Growly.
Okay, but this one has all different types of. It's got a flavor of sussy for everybody,
Oh,
for every
nice.
taste that you could have. There's a sussy for you. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, cool. All right.
Okay.
All right, chill.
Any other upfront stuff?
No. Well, you might catch up to me now because I haven't had time to read the third book in a while.
Oh shit!
So I'm still towards the beginning. You might surpass me.
I will.
Although have you heard of the comics?
No.
There's a comic series she wrote, or is currently writing. Actually, I think there are only 3 issues out right now, called The Steel Prince, and it's a prequel about Maxim Maresh when he was like Ryan Kell's age.
I remember her referencing that nickname.
Yeah, I got the first 3 for Kylie for Christmas.
That's the Dad King.
I'm gonna read them when I'm done
in the book, in case that helps anyone.
That's the what?
The Dad King, King Dad.
Oh yeah, King Dad. King Dad. It's the King of Red London. If that's more clear.
That's Red King Dad.
King Dad.
It's King Maxim Maresh.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good. Just makes me happy.
Yeah, I love that book.
Oh, good. Then, should we begin?
Let's pop in.
Okay. I'm first this week.
Woo.
Speaking of sassy stuff.
Oh,
okay.
My.
My obsession.
Sessin.
Nice.
Obsession.
Obsession.
Is a new series on Netflix.
Oh.
It came out last weekend, and I'm already on my second time through watching it.
Wow.
Although I kind of have, I didn't watch it tonight because I was listening to the Shades of Magic audiobook, so I'm kind of cheating on it with this audiobook now. But it's called Sex Education.
Oh, they've been trying to get me to watch that.
Hannah.
What?
Hannah.
What?
Kylie is downstairs watching that literally this moment.
Holy shit.
Wow. Thanks for letting us in on that secret.
And guess what?
What?
And guess what?
What?
Hazel is sleeping right next to her.
Oh.
While Como sleeps next to me. It's very nice. Carry on.
Well, that's interesting that Kylie's watching that right now, because one fun fact that I wanted to tell you, Ben, specifically about this show is that Dad and Mom are also watching it. And I mean, Aunt Brown and Uncle Brown are also watching it. And Dad texted me earlier, Uncle Brown texted me earlier today and asked if I thought that the main female lead, Moira, is that her name? Yeah.
I don't know.
Asked if I thought she looked like Kylie, but with more makeup on. And 'cause she wears a ton of makeup, like really dark eyeliner and stuff. And I think she kind of does a little bit, like the top half of her face. So if you listeners ever wondered what the top half of Ben's girlfriend's face looks like, you should watch this show. And that's all I have to say about it.
And then you'll kind of know.
Yeah, you'll kind of know. No, but it's okay. How do I describe it? It's a British series. I think it started off I think it was produced by Netflix UK. I think it stars a bunch of newcomers. I don't think they are teenagers, but they're relatively young. I haven't seen them in a lot of other things. And basically it's the story of this really kind of invisible kid in this high school who he starts up a sex therapy on campus after hours sex therapy.
He's Ender. That's how I know.
Oh yeah, and that the top half of Kylie's face looks familiar to me too. She's been in something I've seen.
They are both very good. So the main, I don't remember her name. The main
Maeve.
No, Maeve. But what's the actress's name?
Emma McKay.
Something.
Yeah, something like that. And then the other. So there's a kind of
Mackie.
Three main people who I started following on Instagram right afterwards. What?
He's right. It's Mackie. I don't know what I
She said McKay.
McKay.
Emma Mackey. So the main 3 characters, basically, the main 3 actors are Emma Mackey, Asa Butterfield, who I just want to say one thing that's been really fun about kind of diving deep into the social media of some of these actors, not that deep, honestly, pretty surface level for him, is that he's a humongous nerd in real life. He's like very charmingly nerdy. Like they did this whole press tour. I was looking at his Instagram stories and it was like, oh, we're in New York City. Oh, taking pictures all over. Oh, I did this interview. And then there's like some of him flying home to London or wherever. And then like the very next one is him just like taking a photo of this like table like completely full of like miniatures and like board games with a bunch of his friends. Just like really sweet. And the other one who I want to call out, his name is gosh, I might mispronounce this, but the best friend character in the show I don't remember his name in the show.
Call him out.
His name is Nakuti Gatwa.
They call him Nakuti
Put him on blast.
Gatwa. And he's also wonderful. So basically all the acting in the show is really, really great. It's extremely funny. It's got like, it's very like inclusive. There's like a lot of different types of sexuality shown. There is a lot of like it's definitely not underage genitals, but there is like a lot of like it's written to be underage genitals like shown in the show. Like there's a lot of boobs like immediately. There's like a picture of a vagina at one point.
Boobs like, immediately.
The first two.
That's what I want our episode to be called.
Boobs immediately.
We'll get some clicks that way. Get that search engine optimization.
The other boobs immediately, but like for real, like the first two episodes start out with teens having sex, and then like something goes wrong, and that's like the intro to it. It's like a monster of the week, except it's like a sexual dysfunction of the week, like for the first couple episodes. But I don't know, there's a lot of really like interesting, lovable, funny characters. It's like very addictive. The first time that we watched it was last Saturday, which was I think the day it came out, and Ian and I stayed up like until 2 a.m. One night to finish the series, the season, because we just didn't want to stop watching it.
Because we do what we want.
Because it was Saturday and we can do what we want. And like you can just leave us alone about it.
Yeah, I don't have to justify myself to you. I should get on and talk about it. And it's Gillian Anderson, who I love. Is it Gillian or Gillian? I'm bad at
Gillian. It's Gillian.
I love her.
She's amazing in this. She plays the main guy's mom, and she's a sex therapist. Like that's her actual job. So that's why he's like completely inexperienced and actually has like some major like hang-ups and neuroses around like his own sort of sexuality, or not sexuality, but like sex in general. Or even touching his own penis. He can't, like, he gets really, like, he has panic attacks if he, like, tries to touch his own penis, like, the main character. But he's a sex therapist to, like, all these other people. And the reason is because he knows a lot about all that stuff, because his house is just full of, like, all kinds of books and art and, like, all kinds of sexuality stuff everywhere. And his mom is Gillian Anderson, and she's really, really... really good.
I have an update about Emma Mackey. She gets mistaken a lot for Margot Robbie, who is the actual person I recognize.
Okay, so you don't recognize her.
Yeah, I don't recognize her.
Okay.
So that's just a little update for you. She was the one who played Tanya Harding and I, Tanya. And,
okay.
Some
yeah,
other
I could see
stuff.
that.
Yeah, okay.
I could see that. She's really good, though. I can't really think of a character in this show that I didn't think was, like, acted really well and written really well. Like it was all just like well-rounded, like just generally very well-made show. Like I wouldn't necessarily have thought that like at the like a coming of age like teen sex romp series on Netflix would be my jam.
Romp is right.
It kind of is, like boobs immediately. But it's like it's just super good, and it's just like it's like it's feel good in like a wholesome way, despite all of the genitals everywhere.
Can I just interject with a funny thing that happened the other day that's totally related? It's that I got a text from my best friend about her evening. She goes to a UU church, and she said to me, "Got to lay my eyes on some littles, like some kids." Mm-hmm. And I read it the first 3 times is got to lay my eyes on some titties, which is exactly how you would say it. And so that was funny. And I've just been saying that phrasing ever since.
Got to lay my... Is that like...
I gotta lay some eyes. Oh,
Yeah.
Fuck, I
Yeah,
fucked it
like
up.
I was able to...
Gotta lay some eyes on my titties.
I was able to view some breasts. Is basically like, gotta lay my eyes on some titties.
Gotta lay.
Gotta lay.
Gotta lay my titties on some eyes.
Immediately.
We've come full circle.
Gotta lay my eyes on some kitties, Ben.
Yeah.
Kitties.
Yeah, actually, that's a pretty decent segue to what I think we're about to talk about next, because I really...
Isn't
No,
Aaron
I'm
next?
next.
Oh,
First
Aaron's
shall
next.
be last.
Sorry.
It's a pop and a push, Hannah.
I'm sorry, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
come on.
I did it myself.
For fuck's sake.
For fuck's sake, Hannah.
Yeah,
Aren't you running this shit?
there's just not much more that I can say about sex education without giving stuff away, and I just think it's...
Kylie also really
watching.
enjoys it, by the way.
Oh, good.
Is
Great.
it because the half of the one character's face looks like hers?
And then
Yeah, she
Is
said,
that
I
why?
love the show. The upper half of one of the main characters' face looks like me, kind of.
Yeah.
The gay best friend... So the Asa Butterfield character, his gay best friend, who is the third person I called out with the more difficult name to pronounce, he is wonderful too. Just a wonderful, wonderful character. Like, great actor. Like, I just watch it. Please just watch
Okay.
it, everyone.
I'm so glad that you mentioned it because they've been trying to promote it to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I just have been like, I don't know if that looks. It's like hit or miss sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not sure why, honestly. Like, I don't know why I started watching it, because I had the same reaction. I was like I said, I didn't think it would be my jam, and I was kind of annoyed that they were like sending me push notifications about it. But like, we just kind of were in a little bit of a dry spell, and so I was like, well, let's just watch one episode and we'll just see if we like it. And it was quite addictive and good. Good job.
Good job.
Mhm.
Although I did watch the preview, and because I saw it had Gillian Anderson in it, I was like much more tempted to watch it because I love her.
She's...
What else is she in?
She's in
Ian, I already told them about Gillian Anderson.
Did he just... Oh, God, I'm
she's
hiccuping.
in. Is it
Why?
The Fall?
He says she picks good projects generally.
Yeah, she's
That's
in The
his-
Fall and is so good in it.
Oh.
Never seen it.
He said he's telling me that's why we watched it, is that Gillian Anderson was in it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we think she has good taste in projects.
Oh, she's in Johnny English Reborn.
Great project.
She's
Great project. Great Rowan
and
Atkinson
she looks
movie.
great in a suit. That was a thing recently.
Fuck, she looks
She's
so good
putting
in
out
this
a
movie.
suit line, maybe.
She looks beautiful in this movie. I can't remember if she ever wears a suit, but she wears all kinds
Oh,
of
the
great
X-Files
outfits.
is like the thing she's really famous for, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought you meant besides the X-Files. I'm sending you guys
No, I haven't.
Wow.
this
really?
motherfucking picture of her.
I
in a
haven't
suit.
watched any of anything she's in.
Her hair in
Actually.
Oh my
this show,
God. You
her-
don't know who she is.
that's crazy to me.
Look at this.
I've
sending you a
literally never
picture.
seen any of these.
Wow.
Yeah, watch The Fall. The Fall's really good.
They're all good projects, generally.
Here she is in a suit. I mean, get out of here with that.
Damn.
Scrolling. Yeah, she
She looks good in a suit.
and that's her hair. I'll tweet this picture out on @2BroadPod on Twitter.
That's her
That's
real
her-
hair.
That's
There in the show. That's her hair. She does her own hair work.
That's her
hair does
haircut.
its own
and color.
work.
You know what I'm saying.
She doesn't get stunt hair. It's all real. That's all her hair.
You're being so
Oh.
difficult.
Scratch that. I've heard her voice because she was in the English dub of Princess Mononoke,
Okay.
Oh.
starring Claire Danes.
You just have to trust us, Ben. She's a great actor.
Oh, I'm not saying I don't. I'm just amazed that,
Yeah, you've
like, usually with someone like this, I've seen them in at least
You've, like,
something. But I'm
artfully
looking through all
avoided-
of her stuff.
Gillian Anderson.
Yeah, she's
Apparently.
been around for you. She's been doing all this for you.
For you.
Have I seen? No, I haven't seen that.
She has a website called IWishBenWouldNoticeMe.com. Here's what the Gillian Anderson character you're most attracted to says about you. That's an Autostraddle quiz from one day ago.
Yeah, she's extremely famous, Ben. She's been in a lot of things.
Okay. Ooh.
This is your fault, not hers, okay?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how her hair is in the show, is all I was trying to say. It's that color, and it's that short, and it's very good.
Oh my god! Okay, again, I haven't seen her in this, but I feel like, was this an obsession, or this might have been pre-WayTooBroad that I watched a show called Ronja the Robber's Daughter?
Yeah, no.
Or Ronja Roverdottir is the name in, I think, Swedish. It's an anime made by Studio Ghibli, and she's the narrator in that. Which is interesting. Although I watched that in Japanese, so never mind, I did not hear her voice. I have never, ever seen her in anything.
Oh my God.
She's very good. You just have to take our word for it.
I believe you.
Okay.
All right. Who's drinking what? Have we even finished that segment yet?
Ben, what? Ben, what? Why have you not been watching this with Kylie?
Because she has been.
He doesn't need sex
watching
education.
it.
He knows everything.
I forget why. Oh, because I have a lab on Mondays at like 7 p.m. till like 9. So while she was home alone, she started watching it on Monday. And so now she's been watching it on her own.
Hannah, do you and Ian have separate shows?
Right now, we have separate audiobooks.
There was such a long
Yeah, it was long.
silence.
We generally don't.
Like, you were like counting to 10 before you answered me.
Well, like tonight, he's been really jonesing for the new season of Star Trek to come out, and I watched the last season with him, but I didn't really like the way it ended that much. And I didn't even really remember it at this point. It's been so long, but I remember not liking it. So
that's enough.
Yeah. So when he wanted to watch it tonight, I was like, well, I'm almost done with this book, so I'm going to sit on the couch or lay on the couch next to you with my headphones in while you watch it, and I'll listen to my audiobook. But I was thinking about that actually, specifically in the context of your life, Aaron, because I think it's a lot easier for people who live together to have like different shows when they live in a bigger house where there's just like more room to like freely watch your shit separately.
That's a really good point. Although we did live in that little house, and I think we had separate shows, but we probably have more separate shows now. But you right. You right. Because even if you were like in your room, you know.
Well, yeah, it's like you have to really be making an effort to separate yourselves, and it's also like you're always like close enough that it feels like you're ignoring each other if you're not doing something together, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So I it's also kind of interesting. Just like I took this archaeology class when I was in college that was about like the archaeology of us now, and about how the way that sort of the world is constructed around us, like the way that the buildings we live in or that we spend our time in, how they affect like our culture and our behavior and stuff. And so from that perspective, it's also really interesting that like I'm not just saying like, oh, poor me, I can't have my own shows. Like, I don't really feel that way, but it's just interesting how like the rhythm of my life and our lives together is different just because of the happenstance that we live in like a very small house.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like when we were in our smaller house, our ranch with, 1-story house, we would like every day when we got home from work, we would like get in the bed and like snug and like talk to each other. And we like stopped doing that for the most part when we moved into our new house, because you can't really do that on the couch, and our bed was like all the way upstairs. So we have to like consciously be like, we need to go upstairs and like have a snug if we're you know what I mean. Like sometimes you feel a little like distant, or you're like picking at each other, and you're like, okay, we stop everything, but it's like that thing that was so natural, and I felt like such an integrated part of our lives just like suddenly stopped because suddenly it was like minorly inconvenient,
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That's really interesting. That's a great example. Cool. Wait, whose obsession are we on? Aaron.
Me. I have like the smallest one. I couldn't remember if we talked about this. I think we might have, though. It's not in the topic index.
Okay.
But y'all can help me remember. So I started a new audiobook, and it's Big Little Lies.
No,
I don't think we have. Is that the HBO show?
Yeah, that's the HBO show.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we maybe talked about it because I remember Ben being like, "Oh, Adam Scott's in it," and I was like, "He's the least interesting part of it." But now that I have like a lot of affection for him, I'm like, "Oh yeah, Adam Scott."
Okay.
You know what it might have been? I think I was watching it while we were
wow, what a
while
cast.
we were recording.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I think I was watching it while we were recording. It might have been around how I called the twist ending in its entirety, like 3 episodes before, and said it out loud to Molly, and she like didn't listen or remember, and so then when it happened, she like turned to me.
This sounds familiar.
And I was like, I called it. She's like, what? And I was like, oh my god, like 3 episodes ago. So anyway, so it's really like the audiobook's good. It's interesting. So the show is set in the HBO series is amazing. It's really great cast, really beautiful like cinematography, and like it's because it's set in Monterey, California, and it's gorgeous, and it's really interesting because the book is set in Sydney, Australia.
Oh.
So the narrator's Australian. I couldn't actually tell if she was Australian or English. Like she has this really, it's almost like a posh Australian accent. Like I really couldn't tell, except there's some words.
Australian.
Australian.
Australian. Thank you, man.
You're welcome. Save them syllables.
Yeah.
This segment's gonna be like
That's syllables.
5 minutes shorter because of that. So it's interesting because all of the book so far is almost exactly like the HBO series was very, very, very true to the book, based on what I can tell so far. But it's really interesting how well it translates into California, like all of the like whole like attitudes of like, you know, kind of rich frou-frou nay people and like snobby, you know, people who live by the beach. If you think about like the typical California hippie and, you know,
yeah, Ben.
Yeah, fuck everyone that lives in California.
Yeah, and like, you know, everybody with the big houses obsessed with their jobs, like really helicopter parenting, like that whole like American California, you know what I mean? Yeah, California people who live in California are trash, but all of them, no exceptions. Even people who just moved there, especially people who just moved there.
Agree, hard
because they extra chose it. But it's really interesting hearing it. Like it takes place in Sydney. And just like how well, so I'm not obsessed with the audiobook. It's fine. It's good so far. It's so startlingly like the miniseries that I almost am like a little bored by it because I feel like there's almost like nothing to add except I'm gonna finish it because I'm interested, and it's a good book because the premise is so interesting and has so many nice layers. But I've been thinking a lot about the HBO series to the point where I feel like I've just done a rewatch, or I'm like in the middle of a rewatch because I'm like thinking about it all the time. But anyway, that's all. That's really it. Okay. Next.
What is the premise of Big Little Lies? I don't know anything about it.
I'll just read you the synopsis from the Wikipedia article.
She said that like she lived in California. Did you hear that? She was like,
it's because my Sydney accent, my Australian accent is not great. It's a 7-episode miniseries.
Wow. Good start.
It tells the story. I don't know if I would agree with this. It tells the story of 3 emotionally troubled women in Monterey, California. I don't agree with that. Who become embroiled in a murder investigation.
Nice. Okay.
Ooh.
So you kind of start out in the book and TV series with like something happened at an elementary school during an adult trivia night. So parents only trivia night. Something happens and you kind of find out that somebody has been murdered. And you don't know who. Okay. And it's kind of like those scenes are like interstitials of you know, the plot as you're getting to know the characters, and also there are little interstitials of like parents from the schools being interviewed, by the detectives, and they're all just terrible, like bratty, like gossipy, like really gossipy. And so you kind of see these people. It's like one of those things. It's like we've talked about before. Like if you had to account for your day, right? Like normal things that you've done when they're suddenly under scrutiny suddenly seem linked to unrelated things and like cause and effect. And so you see, you get this narration as it happened, and then you see it, from kind of like the lens of the past in the light of a murder investigation, and everything is like, warped. Like some people are like, oh, I saw this person did this, and you know how it went down, but you can also see how it got twisted into that narrative. I don't know if any of those word soups made any sense, but
yeah, I got
it's a great miniseries.
How big are the lies?
They're big little. The little lies are big.
Wow.
But the big lies are little.
There aren't.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's really the
there aren't
revolutionary
a ton
part
of lies.
for me.
There aren't a ton of lies. I don't know. But yeah.
Is that spoilers? No, thank you.
I think that Reese Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman, and it's really interesting as I'm listening to the book, how good these casting roles are is like really, like as I'm like imagining the people in the miniseries in these roles of the book, I'm like, you couldn't have cast better people, honestly. And I think that Reese Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman had a lot to do with getting this miniseries made, if I remember. And I think they either were before they like became like super best friends during it, and they like have, I think, like
a baby together.
Yeah.
I just really thought that was what you were gonna say.
Like are together now. I think they have a couple babies together. I think they like they have like houses near each other
for their babies
so that they can co-parent. I think like one of them had a house in like Georgia, and the other one like bought a house right next to them.
Oh, that's nice. So Savannah?
So that they could raise the kids together.
Savannah.
I don't know.
Should be.
I don't know. Savannah. I don't know a lot of details about this quote unquote fact I'm trying to relate to you. So, don't at me about it. I'm trying to see, where did I hear this?
Listen, if you're listening to this right now and you know what Erin's talking about and the houses are in Savannah, you should at us about it, because I want to know that.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I don't know.
All right, good. Okay. Great obsession, Erin.
Great fact.
Yeah, I think, they love each other.
Okay, cool.
So.
Well, okay, cool. So you would recommend the audiobook or the series first?
I think the series is just really great.
Did you ever watch...
Okay.
What's that one? Never mind. I've forgotten what it's called.
We're on fire today with our quote-unquote facts.
We're great.
It's another HBO miniseries that recently came out, and I might have talked about it as an obsession because it was really good.
Oh.
Game of Thrones.
Sharp Objects.
Oh, I never watched that, no.
Sharp Objects.
It's
Amy Adams?
Yes. Yeah. It's very good.
I didn't ever watch that.
I heard, I watched it, but I heard that, I was reading about how it compares to the book. You were reminding me, when you were talking about how true it was to the book. I think maybe that's easier to do in a miniseries than in like a movie or a TV or like an ongoing series, maybe, because it seems like, or maybe that's just something that HBO producers care about right now. But like, it does seem like there's it seemed similar that where they were in many ways true to the book in that miniseries. Okay. It was really good.
Reese Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman became very close during filming the first season, to the extent that Witherspoon bought the residence next to Kidman's house in her hometown of Nashville so that they could raise their children together. Okay. I added that last sentence, but...
It was so natural. I completely forgot it was a joke. That's how rumors start.
They probably love each other so much that they would like raise that rumor. Together.
Yep. Yeah, in Nashville. Yeah. Cool. Well, check it out. I had not really been very interested in that, but now that there's a good rec.
It's really good.
Okay. Well, then I'll check it out.
Cool. That's all. Move along
now. Jumping into Baby Ben's.
What's up, everybody? Ben here. My obsession is my new kitten.
Oh, yes.
New kitten.
Hazel freaking nuts. The little angel girl.
Oh, my goodness.
And also, my obsession is, by extension, Como for being such a good boy.
Oh.
So I'm going to talk about introducing
Yeah,
that.
I want to hear all about it.
Because it's been an experience.
You should do it in a way that is like very sweet and good and true, but also like educational for the peoples.
Yeah. I'm planning on it. So, first day. So, like, the big thing with getting and introducing a new cat is that, especially when you've had your existing cat for a while. We've had him for like, he's almost 2 now, so we've had him for like a year and a half or so.
He's big.
He's fucking huge. I realize now next to her.
We used to think he was small, but now we know he's huge.
I want a picture of them together.
Oh my gosh. I'll send you one.
I will send. We have some pictures of them sleeping next to each other on the couch.
I'll send you one while he's talking.
Not like cuddling, but like, yeah. So the big thing that I think a lot of people mess up and ruin their cat's relationship is that they just kind of put them in a room together and then like hope they work it out, which is like absolutely not what you're supposed to do. Because like even if you introduce cats completely correctly, it's a 50-50 if they're going to get along anyway. Like the thing about cats is like it's always kind of a wild card. Like even if you introduce them and do everything right, you're just kind of making it so that the worst case is that they tolerate each other versus like fighting with each other and hating each other. But like if you don't do it properly, you're like guaranteeing, unless you're like really lucky and they instantly bond and like love each other, which is super, super rare.
It does happen. It happened with Jack and Henry.
It does. But it's it's not common by any means. You're like pretty much guaranteeing failure and guaranteeing your cat's relationship is not going to be good. So what you have to do is make sure they don't see each other for like a few days at least. Like they need to be, in our case we had, because the only doors that close in our apartment are to the bathroom and the bedroom. So we put a litter box and Hazel's food and everything in our bedroom, and she lived in there for a few days and Como lived out here. So she arrived Sunday night. Wolfie's mom brought her here, drove her from LA, which is really nice. And she was great. We talked to her for a while. Big shout outs to her and the Friends for Life Rescue Network, the nonprofit that she runs.
The Instagram.
For doing a lot of...
for people who don't know about Wolfie?
Wolfie Smiles is the name of the Instagram. Yeah, so go follow that. It's really... He's cute, and she has 4 other cats, and often is fostering cats. In fact, I found out that Hazel actually was fostered at her house for like 2 weeks before she went to her current foster.
Isn't King Leonidas also her cat?
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Yeah, so she arrived Sunday. Como, like, right away was, like, had his face just under the door. Like, what is in there?
Wow.
Sniffing, like, sticking his paws under. And she is the sweetest little angel girl. She loves playing. Like, a lot. I mean, she's, like, kittens obviously like to play a lot. But, like, she plays, I think, more than Como did when he was a kitten, and like more intensely. But then like when she stops playing, she'll just like jump up and kind of like walk all over you while purring really loudly.
Sweet girl.
Like so loud. And she's so one of my favorite things has been like seeing how different their personalities are. Like I love a lot of things about both of them, but like Como, I'm realizing now, is like very deliberate in everything he does. Like, even when he's, like, climbing on you cuddle, he's, like, doing it very slowly and, like, making sure he gets in the exact right position and lying down. She's just, like, haphazardly walking on, like, just stomping on everything. Like, she won't even realize you're there and then just, like, walk all over you. And she's very busy. Like, she'll cuddle you and sit down for a second. Oh, hey, buddy.
Come on.
Okay, he
didn't
didn't stop anything. She, like, will purr and nuzzle and sit down with you and, like, lie on your chest for a second and then be, like, see something and be like, oh, I have to go play with that now. Like, run around. Like, she's just, like, so she has, like, ADHD for a cat. It's adorable. So yeah, we kept them separated.
What's the cat science behind that? Like, why the closed door where they can smell each other but not see each other?
Because eye contact can be taken really, like, aggressively for cats, and also especially for the cat that, like, cats are very territorial, and so, like, especially for the cat who's lived here already, if they're just, like, see them and another of their species, they usually take it as an intruder. Whereas, like, if you, did I say intruder?
No.
I think I did. Okay. If you can associate their smell with, like, for one, get them used to it, and then also associate it with good things like treats and food, they can kind of they don't, when they finally see them and, like, smell them and then associate their smell with the visual of that other cat, they won't, like, immediately start being like, oh, you're an intruder. They'll be like, kind of in the background, be like, oh, food, fun, playtime.
Gotcha, yeah.
So it's just about getting them used to the smell of each other before they ever see each other, basically. And you do, as Jackson Gallus suggested, we did, like, the feeding ritual. We moved his food over to not next to the door. We moved it like around the corner of the door, like out of that little hallway. I don't know why I'm describing that like everyone knows my apartment, but so it was, like, just outside of there, but within smelling range. Because the thing about Como is that he doesn't, like, really eat all at once, which is why we weren't sure how well the feeding ritual thing was going to work, because he doesn't have, like, a feeding time. He, like, takes a few bites and then leaves and then comes back and eats it over and over again over the course of the night. So what we did was we tried to give him treats, like, right next to the door while she was eating, to just, like, make sure that he was eating next to the door while she was eating at the same time, so they were both associating it with each other.
That's good.
Yeah, so he was doing really well, and, like, being good, and she was being really nuzzly, and Kylie and I were taking turns sleeping out in the living room, because Como really likes sleeping with us and gets upset if he can't be in the same room with us when we sleep. So we took turns sleeping on the couch, and he slept with each of us when we were out here, because he's a nice boy.
Nice boy.
And Hazel likes to wake you up at, like, 5 a.m. by walking on your face purring, which is, like, it's really cute, but then you're also like, it's 5 a.m. Hazel, go to sleep. So then, yeah, Monday they were separated, and we did, when I got home from school, or actually in the morning, we did what's called site swapping, which is another thing where you, like, take, basically swap the rooms that the cats have been in and have been getting their smell all over. So, like, we put Como in the bedroom and took her out to the living room.
Did, like, one of you have to, like, take the cat into the bathroom and close the door while the other went in?
That's exactly what we did. Yeah. Because Como is very curious and really likes to get into every door. So we, like, and the big thing is, like, for the cat that's already lived here, for your old cat, to let them, like, use the other cat's litter box and to let them eat the other cat's food while they're in there, so they, like, kind of know that that's also that they're, like, still kind of in charge. You don't want them to be, like, aggressive to them, or think that they're, like, competing for resources with them.
Right. So, like,
so you want to
when you site swap, that's really helpful because it allows them both to, like, put their scent all over the place and mix their scents together. So you really want it to end up, like, you want them to feel equal ownership on every part of the house. And, like, especially in many cases like Ben and Kylie's, where the room that you have to put the new cat in is the bedroom. The bedroom is, like, such an important smell center for, like, for humans and cats together. Like, it's always, like, a place where cats like to hang out is in your bedroom when they're bonded with you, because it's, like, it smells more like you than anywhere else. Yeah. So if they can't continue to feel like they also own that space, then that can really, like, make them feel, like, generally territorially insecure about their whole house. So yeah.
But eventually Como, like, pretty quickly got bored of smelling the bedroom and decided he wanted to leave, and so he started pulling at the doorknob, because a wrinkle in all of this is that Como knows how to open doors.
Oh my god.
And because he's so fucking long, he can just reach up and literally pull the doorknob like a tiny human being.
Oh no.
So we got worried he would do that, so we actually, this is the last night Kylie put up a pillow and a chair, because we had them separated last night too. But Tuesday we did the same thing, separated all day. Kylie, who works from home, split her time between being out here and being in there with her, because she would start to try to meow, but she can't meow that well. She kind of just does a little crackly squeak while Como screams. And then, oh, that's it. I feel like I didn't mention, she purrs so much, and I don't know if I mentioned before, Como doesn't purr.
I noticed that.
Or if he very rarely does, and if he does, it's really quiet. Whereas she jumps up on you, you scratch her neck for a second, and it's starting a motorbike. She's just literally louder than any cat I've ever met. But she can't meow, and Como meows super loud all the time.
The odd couple over here.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, I didn't even mention, on Sunday night, fucking a couple hours after Jackie left and Hazel was just getting used to us and purring and being nice, the fire alarm went off in our building.
Oh my god.
And we were oh my god, what the fuck? So we put the cats in the carriers. Thank God we had my parents bring out that other carrier that we had left at their house when they came out here, and took them outside in with towels over their carriers so they couldn't see each other or anything else. And had to wait outside for half an hour, because when in our building, when one smoke alarm goes off, all of them, the entire building's alarm system goes off.
Such a big building too.
Yeah, it's a lot, and God, that was the worst. And we were scared, because Como was so scared, and Hazel was in the bedroom, and the alarm is 10 times louder in the bedroom, I think, to wake people up if they're sleeping. Yeah. So she was just huddled in the closet, all scared, and we were she's gonna be traumatized, ruined everything, fuck. And then we got back, and 10 minutes later she was playing and she was fine, and Como was nuzzle. It was just fine. But we were really on literally the night we get a fucking new kitten, this has to happen.
Ben was pissed. He was texting us. He was
I was
mad.
really annoyed. So then we did site swapping again Tuesday night, and that went well. And they were doing really well. They were playing with each other under the door on Monday night and during the day Tuesday. And so on Tuesday night, was it Tuesday? Yeah, it was Tuesday night. Our plan was Wednesday, if everything's going really well, is when we'll do the introduction, which we're going to do through a baby gate. And we have a towel over it, have Hazel come out of the bedroom, and then slowly lift up the towel as they're smelling each other. And then on Tuesday, we did that. And it went okay, except that instead of looking under the towel, Como, who's really tall and long, just peeked up over the towel or under the gate, and then started to try to jump over it, but it wasn't super secure, and it started to fall, and then scared both of them. So it was a bad, kind of a rough start. But then eventually he jumped over the gate, they sniffed each other, there was no getting puffed, no hissing.
Good.
That's what you need to when you're doing that initial introduction, you have to obviously be there and be kind of a referee and pay really close attention to both of the cat's body language for any sign of discomfort. There's always going to be they're going to be kind of slinky and low to the ground and not have their tails up. They're going to be cautious, of course, because it's that's just their nature, but that's okay. That's just them exploring and being curious about this new thing. But if it starts to be getting all puffed up, puffing their tail up, hissing, putting their ears straight back, that's a bad sign, and that's when you need to step in. But it was a lot of just Como kind of staring at her while she played. She loves playing so much that he after she sniffed him a little bit, and then we started playing with a toy in the bed, and she was okay, time to play, and jumped up on the bed, and he just watched her. And then we decided it was going okay, but we were okay, that was a good initial introduction. We're gonna give them another day. And then Wednesday morning, while I was in the shower, Kylie, I come out of the shower and Kylie's like, okay, so Como opened the door and decided they were ready. But it like went, it was going like really well, so she just didn't stop it. Because like something about seeing each other through like the crack of the door was like really good for them. And then again, it was just like him kind of watching her and staring at her, but not really showing any signs of aggression whatsoever. And he even like he even watched her eat out of her bowl and then watched her eat out of his food bowl afterwards out in the living room and was like fine with it. So we were like, I think they're good. Like we're pretty sure like they're fine. Which is like, it's been going super well. And now today Como like can't get enough of her. He just like, he wants to play so bad. The only thing is it's really hard to tell with cats when they're playing versus when they're fighting, because their playing can look a lot like fighting. But again, it's all about like watching body language and like if their ears are straight back, if they're hissing, sometimes will hiss a little bit, but if they're hissing like too much or biting too hard or using claws a lot, then you have to like be careful of that. But so I think what's happening kind of right now is that Como thinks he's playing like 100% because he's not showing any signs of aggression at all. But she still kind of thinks they might be fighting or it might not be as fun for her. So she sometimes hisses a little bit or gets scared. So there's not a lot of like reciprocity in the playing. Like it's mostly him chasing her right now. But he's not trying to like hurt her or anything, definitely, which is really good. Cause like, I think her being a little scared of this big giant cat is to be expected. The thing you mainly have to worry about when you're choosing cats is the existing cat getting territorial and aggressive towards the new one, which is totally not what he's doing because he's just such a good boy who adjusts so quickly to everything. He's so good. Boy. He's very sweet. And today they were both sleeping on the couch next to Kylie while she was working.
That's really nice.
Because they're just good little angels.
Nice. Can I just tell you, like, when Jack and Squeak, the first time Jack and Squeaks like laid near each other, I mean, it was months after we had like had to do the reintroduction. We did a bad job with introducing our cats the first time, and like I was so pumped like to see them just like sleeping near each other after like a few months of them just like being able to be around each other. They finally like slept near each other, and that was like so huge. So like, and that's not, and I know that might be part of why you were like very careful about this is that you've heard all those stories about them. I actually think that they're not, I think they were like kind of on the worst end of what can happen. And we still were able to manage it and kind of do a reintroduction process with them. But like the fact that they're already like just like sleeping near each other is like such a good thing.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah,
angels.
and like, and today I've noticed that like yesterday when they were around each other, and why we separated them was because Como started to chase her like a little too much, and we decided like, you know what, she feels like prey right now. This probably shouldn't be happening. So we separated them for the night. But then today, like this morning, even when I got home from school, it was like I could tell Hazel had like a little more fight in her. Like she was kind of swatting back, and like sometimes I would see her like jump out from the bed at him. So like there was like, it wasn't just her being hunted. It was a lot of it looked more like them playing with each other. And I think that what I'm thinking now is that they're basically successfully introduced to each other. It's just they're not totally used to each other. Like Como will still, when he's like awake and around her, most of the time will just kind of be staring at her.
Flirting at her.
Flirting constantly. That like constantly.
Explain for the listener what a flirt is.
It's that little cute noise that cats make, like that little noise. And I've never heard it be anything but positive. So I don't think it's not definitely not like hissing and growling or anything. Like when he walks out of the bedroom and sees her, he just looks at her and like flirts. Like, and then he like whenever he runs up to her, even like if it's like a pounce, he's like, as he's doing, he's like,
I think it means he loves her.
Yeah, he loves her.
I think so too. Like he really just wants to play with her. So excited. And I get being scared of him when huge. It's her for like her part, because he's really big compared to her.
He's so big.
He's like such a fucking big boy.
Okay, I looked up cat trill.
Okay.
Trill. It's trilling. That's what I think it's actually
called.
But
it's flirting.
As adults, cats use these sounds when greeting other cats or people. A cat trill usually means hello. Oh. It's generally seen as an expression of happiness.
Oh, he's so happy. He loves
He does it
her.
every time he sees her. It's so cute, like constantly.
I have a friend now.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, you're still here. I'm so happy to see you.
It's so cute.
Oh my god, that's so sweet. Another thing, Ben, I was thinking about when you're like kind of trying to evaluate whether something is playing or fighting, something that's really helpful for me that I've kind of noticed or read about and then noticed is that if a cat is like trying to initiate play, a lot of times what you'll see is that they'll like maybe do the initial like running up or the first pounce or whatever, but then they'll like flop and show their belly and like allow the other cat, like pretty much if you are seeing either or both cats like at any point during the thing like voluntarily like flop on their back as part of the like fighting or playing behavior.
I saw Hazel
that's
do that.
Totally, because that's like a total sign of trust, like because you're exposing like your most vulnerable area when you do that as a cat or a human, really.
Yeah, that's where our vitals are.
Or vittles.
Yeah.
That's where our vittles are.
That's where our digesting vittles are. Yeah, I think it's welcoming, and they do it instead of meowing because sometimes meowing can have negative connotations.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's like just happy.
He wants to make sure it's nice.
Yeah, he was making sure it's nice.
Oh, what a good boy.
Oh, it's nice.
He's so good.
That's so nice.
And she just has to get used to him a little bit. I think that's where we are, is that they're successfully introduced. He just has to get a little more used to her being around so that he's not always staring at her. And then she just has to get a little more accustomed to this big cat running at her to play.
It sounds like she's training him.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And she's gonna get bigger.
Yeah.
And it's good because also she can fit under the couch and he can't. So when she gets like really scared, she just runs under the couch. Which isn't, I mean, that's not necessarily the best thing. You don't want them to get like cornered, but I don't think it's that big of a deal because he's not being actually aggressive.
She's not like staying under there for extended periods of time. Yeah.
Right. She comes out like pretty quickly and it's just like a little hideout for her.
Squeaks does that.
Which is good.
I honestly don't think it's that Jack can't get under the bed, but he's like not
he's
good at getting under the bed. Like it's like he can't do any cat things. So like I wonder if you've ever heard this noise. Jack does what we call a yodel, which is where if Squeaks like escapes him to someplace he can't get to, he'll either post right outside of where she is or even like pace around the whole house and go like that kind of.
He kind of does a similar thing to that.
It's got a gurgle in there.
Yeah, it is. I was about to say that it is a little bit like gurgly, but it's like a where did my friend go, or like a where did my plaything go, like that kind of noise.
Does he chase her around a lot when they're playing?
Yeah, they chase each other. You know, it's funny because like Ian will yell at Jack sometimes for pouncing on Squeaks because like I think he is a little bigger than her technically. I mean, they're both like adult cats, but I'm always just like filled with pride because the thing that happened when Squeaks moved into Jack's apartment, basically like Ian moved into my apartment, which was my and Jack's apartment, right? And she like immediately just like decided that she owned the place, and Jack was spending all of his time hiding under things, like in closets, under beds. Like he was like he wouldn't. Jack is like a puppy dog. I mean, he was a kitten at that point. He comes when you call him, and like he does like all kinds of other like dog things. He's very talkative. He like follows you around the house, like all those things. He just stopped doing all those things. Like he wouldn't come when I called him anymore. Like he just was like trying to be like as invisible as possible all the time. And anytime that he was like in the room, just like trying to like fucking go get a drink of water, Squeaks would stalk him until and chase him down until he was like back in the corner. Like you live in the corner. You get back in the corner. So like it was really like for a while he was completely acting like 100% like prey, never sticking up for himself at all. So like whenever he initiates play or like just like jumps her, I'm always kind of proud of him now. Which is a lot of the time.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a dope.
Yeah, they do a lot of like he'll run up to her, they'll sniff each other's faces and then just kind of walk away. Which I think is a good sign for cats to be comfortable enough to like do that and not do anything like else even remotely aggressive. I just think they're both really good.
Yeah, they're good. Good ones.
Good.
We got good ones. And we got ones with different personalities, but good ones.
Yeah. Complimentary personalities.
Complimentary. They're so good.
Also, like just on an aesthetic note, Como's a black cat and Hazelnut is what do you call that? Calico? Tortie. She's a tortoiseshell. And did you say brindle?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like it's kind of like brindle in dogs.
Similar to brindle,
and she has like mostly black fur, but with like flecks of orange and maybe some brown also.
Mostly orange.
And so they make a great pair aesthetically speaking. Like
I know a Tortie, sorry to interrupt. I know a Tortie who is a very small cat, like she's a full adult, but she's like she looks like a kitten because she's like
Can I tell
really
you
small.
Jackie the Jackie actually told us that she found who she believes to be Hazelnut's mom the other day, like a week or two after she found Hazel. And she's like really small, like kind of looks like a kitten. And also Hazel's pretty small for her age, so we think she might be end up being one of those cats that looks a bit like a kitten for her whole life. Because she's like I think 4 months old or like 3.5 months old. And she's pretty damn small for being that old.
Yeah, she's little.
Oh, they're one of those.
She's a little girl.
Breeds that are tortoiseshell cats are almost exclusively female.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, male tortoiseshells are rare and usually sterile.
Ha!
Wow, fascinating.
Yeah. Ben, can I post that video where Como plurts in it onto the?
Yes, of course.
Onto the Twitter. God, he's so big. I always thought he was so small, but he's so big.
I know, I did too. But he's so big next to her.
He's a big boy.
I mean, he's always been long. He's a long boy.
Yeah, but he's big.
But he's also a big. Even like petting him after petting her, I feel like I'm gonna break her. And then I pet him, and he's just like full. You know, it's weird.
Full of guts.
Full of guts and fat. He's not fat. He's very lean.
He's just big.
Oh, he just flirted when I pet him.
Oh, he's so happy.
He loves having a sister.
He loves it. That must have been what he's been yelling at you guys about for this whole ever.
He's like, have another kid.
Oh, here, you'll like this. In folklore of many cultures, the cats of tortoiseshell coloration are believed to bring good luck. One study found that tortoiseshell owners frequently believe their cats have increased attitude, parentheses, tortitude.
Yeah, that's actually it's like a thing. Apparently, it's harder to get people to adopt torties because of that. Mm-hmm. At least according to Jackie at Friends for Life.
How is that a bad thing?
Well, because
people want cats to just be like decorations in their house. They don't want pets.
I like a cat with a personality. I really do.
I think that they can have a reputation, like not just as like, oh, they got a personality, but like they're mean. Like that can be the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they're not mean. I mean, I've met mean torties, but I've met mean everything.
The tortie I know is just a delight.
Mm-hmm. Well, so is this tortie.
I've also heard it's hard to get people to adopt black cats.
You got two undesirables, and they're great. Very complimentary.
And we love them. They're very desirable to us.
Yeah.
That's right. Home for the, cats that other people weirdly think are undesirable.
Yeah, that's
a catchy name.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm gonna put that over my door.
That's a catchy name. Get banner, Michael.
Yeah, Michael. All right, cool.
It's from freaking Arrested Development.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay. You're right. Should we do homework? Ben,
yes.
Great congratulations on your complimentary cats.
You guys are great cat parents.
Thank you.
You are.
We love them.
They're great. Keep sending videos and pictures to us and the internet.
Of course. Okay.
My homework is watch Sex Education on Netflix, but not around, like children or anything, because there are boobs immediately and vaginas later. And then there's actually also a dick in the first episode.
Wow.
Yeah. And also my Twitter is at Anthropology. And I have another podcast called So Dreamy, where we talk about dreams and we listen to people's dreams, and you can send us dreams and we'll listen to them and talk about them. And that's it.
Great.
Aaron.
Very good.
Hello. My name is Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
My homework is to watch Big Little Lies on HBO.
Oh.
What?
What about the book?
She did say when you asked which one to watch first, she said the series.
Okay.
So, don't know why you're surprised.
Yeah, right. And my obsession was not the book, which I also said. It was reminding me of the series and how freaking good it was.
All right. Well, great.
Maybe listen.
Yeah, my homework for Hannah is to listen to this podcast while it's being recorded. My homework for y'all is to... Not Hannah. Is to watch the HBO miniseries Big Little Lies.
That's fine. I'm gonna be busy anyway.
And you can listen to the audiobook too. It's good so far. But I would say watch the thing, because like there's like the thing that happens, and once you know it, like, and I think the more enjoyable experience would be through the miniseries. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My Twitter's Adam Byrne. I review lesbian movies at LesbianMovieReviews on Instagram. So those are the things of mine. Goodbye.
Hello, Ben.
Hello. My name is Ben.
Hi, Ben.
My homework is to get a cat, I guess, and then get another one. Or look at pictures of Hazel. I haven't posted that many of her on Twitter because I've been so focused on doing the introduction right. I've like literally been at school, and like every hour or so I text Kylie and I'm like, how the kids doing? Everyone doing good? Like I just like haven't been able to think about, oh hey little girl. Speak of the devil, she's come upstairs.
Oh, sweet girl.
So yeah, I guess look at pictures of my sweet little kitties on the internets. At my Twitter, which is old.
Throwback.
Nicely proved Ben. And
when are you gonna start an Instagram for those kitties?
Yeah,
I really should. I don't even have an Instagram, so I could also use it as my Instagram.
You could call it Bean and Nut or Nut and Bean.
That's a good idea.
You could call it
just
Ben's,
a good idea is what that is.
And Kylie's home for cats that people have unnecessary stigmas about, but we don't, because we're like normal people.
Does Twitter does Instagram have a character limit for usernames?
Nah.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Just make a acronym.
Oh my god, did you hear that? Kuma woke up and saw Hazel.
Oh, so nice.
He's just like delighted every time he sees her.
It's so sweet.
Yeah, it's so
like,
cute.
Oh, you're here. It's you.
I love you already. That's great. Congratulations to everyone on this episode is almost finished, and it was so good. So you can call us if you want to tell us what your favorite part of the episode was. You can call us and leave us a voicemail at 774-326-0420.
Blaze
it.
I never went back and oh my god, I had a real problem today because I walked into my office like at exactly 4:20 from a meeting, and I saw 4:20 like written really like my computer was locked and it just said the time really big on it, and it just said 4:20. I could see it all the way across the room, and I wanted to be like, hey look, blaze it, but I didn't.
That's business. You are business.
I exercised some self-control, which is part of being a professional business. So, and then also, what else? We have a Twitter. If you want to tweet at the podcast, you can reach us at 2BroadPod. That's also where you can find any of these pictures or videos that I mentioned, if I remember to post them there. If I don't, you can tweet at me and remind me, or, us. Who knows who runs that Twitter, and then we'll post them. And then also we have an Instagram, WayTooBroad. That's all it is, just WayTooBroad, and we post like a lot of times clips from the show, so you can get a little taste. I mean, you don't need it, but you could play it for your friends who haven't just listened to the entire episode.
Or you could replay a nice moment from the episode you just listened to.
Yeah.
And hey, as demonstrated, if you email us, we'll read the email on the show.
Yeah.
And then send you a quick reply.
Yeah. Yep. Unless you tell us.
We'll send you one of the suggested
Yes,
replies.
and then you'll find out why we picked that one on the next episode, which is usually because it was the funniest one. Spoilers. That email, if you do want to email us, is waytoobroad@gmail.com. All of the contact information for the show and us peoples that we just went through, you can also find on our website at waytoobroad.com for anything you want. If you're needing something, anything really, you can go to www.earnben.com for anything you need.
Mm-hmm.
And if you leave us a review anywhere, we'll see it. You tell us how to reach you. We'll send you a sticker with our animated faces on it, and it'll be great. You can put
That's a freaking deal.
on your fucking car. Okay.
Put it on your car.
Put it.
Oh my god, wait. Before you extinguish the podcast candle, I forgot I have a really cute thing I wanted to mention about Hazel that I forgot to. She, does not know how to retract her claws yet. So she gets them stuck in the, blankets and her toys all the time. And sometimes we'll just, be trying to walk away and just, pull her paw a few times until it comes up. That's it. It's really cute.
Oh, she's so long. They're both long.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, I hope that you all listening like cats. If you don't, honestly, that's on you, and I don't apologize.
There you go. You heard it here, folks.
But we love you, and that's it. So the podcast candle is now extinguished. Took a second. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Well, bye now. Bye now.